And so what happened was I called the owner, and Chris was in the front seat with me, and I called the owner, and I was like, I called the facility, and I was like, hey, and actually it was so funny because the person that answered the phone was like the property manager, and this facility does not need a property manager. And that's another thing too, is like when you answer the phone, it's like a small facility and they have a property manager, that means that the owner don't want anything to do with that property, right? So you got to try to figure out how to get a hold of the owner. But so the lady called, and when I called the lady, when she just on the sign, I just called the number on the sign, and when she answered it like this: hello. That's how she answered the phone. And I was like, ooh, this is gonna be a good one. And I was like, hey, yeah, I was trying to, like, find out information about your storage facility. And she was like, oh, like, you want a unit or what? And I was like, yeah. I was like, maybe, I don't know, like, tell me about it, like the units and stuff. And I was like, do you have anything available? And she's like, I don't really know. She's like, I'm gonna have to go there and take a look. And I was like, this could not get any better, honestly. And I was like, okay, well, yeah. And I was like, actually, I'm really interested in buying it. I was like, do you think the owner would sell it? Because I'm like right here in front, and I'd be interested in talking to the owner about buying it. And she's like, oh yeah. She's like, maybe. She's like, here's his phone number. And she just like gave it to me. And so I called the owner, and the owner answers the phone. His name was Sammy. And he was like, hello. That's how he answered the phone. And I already knew that he was like, I could just tell he was like old and couldn't hear. And I was like, Sam, is that you, Sammy? He's like, yeah, this is Sammy. And we started like we were like yelling at each other on the phone. I was like, who's this? And I said, this is Stacy. I was like, I talked to your property manager and I got your phone number from her. And I want to buy your storage facility. It's like, would you be interested in meeting me? I'm right in front of your storage facility right now. And he was like, I want 270. No, he said, I want $300,000. That's what he said. I want $300,000. And I said, okay. I said, I'll buy it for $300,000. And I didn't know anything about it. I was just like, yeah, I'll buy it for $300,000. That sounds good. Would you be interested in meeting me? I can meet you right now if you're interested. And he said, yeah. He said, I live right around the corner. Come over to my house. And like, that's essentially how the conversation went. And so Chris and I like drove over to his house and got out, and it's like older guy, probably like 88 years old. And his wife was on like on a trip or something. So it's just him by himself. And I was like, Samuel, I was like, nice to meet you. I'm Stacy. And I said, this is Chris. This is my acquisitions manager. And he said, okay, nice to meet you. He was like, come on in. So we sat in his living room, and we talked for like 2 hours. And of course, he told me his entire life story. And I said, okay, so I said, tell me a little bit about the facility. And he told me he has it was 105 units. Okay, 105 units. And it was making, actually, let me share this with you. This is what he showed. This is what he told us. And he said, yeah, here it is. This is the actual dill analyzer. So this isn't like my newest dill analyzers, because this is obviously 2 years old, but this is the dill analyzer I used up until just a couple months ago. Okay, so as you can see, he was making, oh yeah, so let's Control Z this. He told me he was making $37,800. That's what he told me he was making. Okay. And I said, well, okay, great. I was like, okay, good. And he told me it was 105 units. And it's a total of 9,800 square feet, or almost 10,000 square feet. So, I mean, I know 10,000 square feet should be worth like a lot of money, right? It should be worth almost $1 million nowadays, right? Even when I ran the numbers, it came out to 570. And that was like when I bought this in 2020, or I bought this in 2020. This is like actually, no, I bought this in 2019, or I can't remember. It was like pre-COVID though. Okay. And so yeah, so he told me he was making 37,800. And I said, well, can you prove that? He said, no, I can't prove it at all. No. He's like, I have nothing to show you. He's like, I don't know, who's paying or what, I just know that on the tax return it says 37,800. I said, well, can I have your tax return? He said, no, I can't have the tax return because it has all my other businesses on there, which is typical, like what an owner typically would say, right? No, I've got way too many businesses. No. So, so essentially when somebody tells you that, you just, you have to pay cash, right? You have to pay cash for something like this because a bank, or you have to get them to own or finance it, right? Because a bank is not going to finance a deal like this because you have no proof of income.